Should you publish your story in a Medium publication or not? Hi, my name is Julie Rain. I'm a product storyteller here at Medium, and today we're going to break down the answer to that question. When does it make sense? When is it not worth it? What are the benefits to publishing with a Medium publication? By the end of this video, you'll have all the information you need to make the answer for yourself, because unfortunately there's no easy, simple yes or no, but there is some information which I'm happy to give you and help you work out the answer to that question in a way that makes sense for you and for your story. If you prefer reading, I've written this exact video up in a story format, which I'll link in the video description below. Let's get started by breaking down what is a Medium publication. A Medium publication is a themed collection of stories. The theme can be almost anything you can think of: AI, cats, fiction, poetry, postal services. They've really run the gamut. The vast majority of Medium publications are owned by writers, people like you watching this video. Any Medium member can create a publication. What kinds are there? For the purpose of this video, I'm going to focus on what we call community publications. These are publications that are open to new writers, that accept stories from new writers. There are other kinds of publications that I'll touch on briefly. There's what we call the portfolio publication, that is just for one writer to put their stories about one topic. There are closed community publications. These tend to be used by schools. For example, a photography class might create a publication just for the students of that class to publish their photography. And there are also company blogs like the Netflix tech blog that they just use as a place to post their updates and announcements. Now let's get back to the focus of community publications. What are the benefits? There are 3 reasons I recommend publications to writers on Medium. 1, they are really good, especially for beginners. 2, they help you reach interested readers without you having to niche down at all. And 3, they're an opportunity to work with an editor. Let's break those down. Number 1, good for beginners. Generally speaking, it's easier for readers to find your stories if you're brand new by publishing in a Medium publication. Most people, when they come to Medium and start writing their story, don't have any followers. That's just the nature of creating a new profile. People will follow you over time, but very few people come to Medium with a pre-existing audience. That's actually totally fine, because Medium has a bunch of tools that help matchmake your story to reader interests, even if they've never heard of you. Those tools include things like using topics when you publish a story. I'll include a video about how to use topics here. Reading history, but also publications. Remember how publications are themed collections of stories? When a reader follows a Medium publication, even if they don't follow you, when you publish with that publication, there's a greater chance that they will see your story because they follow the publication. That's one of the cues that we use to help matchmake reader to story. Benefit number 2, share your story with an interested audience without having to niche down. So traditionally when you blog, most bloggers find success by writing about one thing. But most people I know are not interested in only one thing, and most writers I know enjoy writing about all kinds of different stuff. Publishing in publications means that no matter what you're writing about, you can access an interested audience of people who care about that topic, and you know they care about that topic because they followed the publication that you're submitting in. You can write about cats in a cat publication, running in a running publication. Use publications as a way to target interested audiences that have already told us and you that they care about that thing. And number 3, you get to work with an editor. Work with an editor covers a wide range of activity levels. Some editors, super hands-on. They'll work with you to craft a title, tighten up your introduction, help the flow of your story. A lot of editors on Medium are super involved in helping make your story the best fit for their readers. They are a joy and truly a treasure to get to work with. Some editors are not interested in doing this kind of developmental editing. They are just going to give you a yes or a no, or even just silence. Both kinds of feedback are still valuable to you as a writer. Even if it's silence, even if it's just a no, this isn't a good fit for our publication. Speaking as a writer, it is not fun to get that kind of a message, but it's still useful feedback because it tells you that the editor, the person who most closely knows what the readers of that topic, what the readers of that publication are interested in, probably won't like your story or won't find it interesting. I really encourage you to take that as an opportunity to go back to your story, go back to that publication submission guidelines, and try to understand, okay, the editor thinks this isn't a great fit. I wonder why. I wonder what I can do better. I wonder what I can change. If you use it as a moment for curiosity, it's normally a little easier to productively use that rejection versus getting caught up in your feelings about it, which, as someone who has gotten caught up in her feelings about rejection a time or two, is a totally natural response. But working with an editor, even a rejection, is a useful piece of feedback for you. Plenty of editors also go above and beyond to promote your stories off of Medium. So many editors run newsletters, they've got LinkedIn pages, they can help share your story beyond Medium to readers on other platforms too. Editors can also feature a limited number of stories from their publication to help give prioritized distribution of those stories to their publication's followers. And finally, many publication editors, I'll include a list in the video description, are what we call Boost Nomination Program editors. What this means is that they can submit a story that they think is really like magazine cover story level quality. They can submit it to our curators. If curators agree with them and say, yeah, this is a great story that our readers are going to want to see, they will boost that story, which means give it priority distribution across all of Medium, not just within the publication. Medium creators trawl through all of Medium to look for stories, so you don't have to go to a publication to get your story boosted, but working with an editor who is part of the Boost Nomination Program means that you're working with someone who has submitted a bunch of stories before and who has a better idea than the average person what a curator is looking for and what readers on Medium are going to want. That's a whole lot of pros. Let's talk about some of the cons. In short, you're giving up a little bit of control in exchange for the audience that publication is going to give you. When I say control, I mean things like whether or not the story is accepted. You don't control that, an editor does. If it is accepted, the editor is going to say when they want it to go live. It can be immediate, it might not be for a while. They're sticking to their calendar, their editorial calendar. Some editors reserve the right to change your title, to change the content of your story, and they might ask you to edit your calls to action or to remove them entirely. Now, remember, none of this is going to be because they don't like you or they don't like your story. It's because they have a really great idea of what their readers want, and they're doing all of that in service to the reader. I really loved how Alex Kingsley put it in their story. They were talking about being a slush pile reader. A rejection does not mean your story is bad and you are bad. Maybe it's an excellent story that doesn't fit their needs, or it may mean that they think you need some time to develop your craft. Either way, not a judgment on you. I want to quickly highlight the fact that when you publish with a publication, two things you do not give up are money or the rights to your work. When you publish your story behind a paywall, even if it's in a publication, you keep all the money that story earns from paying Medium members, and you always retain all the rights to your work on Medium, no matter where it's published on Medium. If you want more information on that, I have included a link to our policy in the video description. It's a pretty fun read as policies go, so check it out if you're interested. Let's say that sounds good to you and you're looking for the full list of community publications to submit to. Unfortunately, no full list exists because new publications are spun up every day. We do maintain a pretty active list that I will link in the video description called the huge list of Medium publications that are open to submissions. Have a scroll. I also really encourage you to go to the topic pages of the topic that you think you're interested in writing in and seeing which publications are active in that topic. I highlight the best way to find publications based on topic and the list in this video here. Maybe it's here. But definitely check it out if you want to look for publications that are open to submissions. Let's talk about the best Medium publications for beginners. The best Medium publications for beginners are two things. A, they are clear and simple for beginners to understand how to submit, and they have an engaged readership. Here's how you figure that out. First of all, is it open to beginners? There's an easy way to tell, and it is if they have their submission guidelines prominently displayed somewhere on their publication. Definitely click on them, read them, and make sure that they are open, because sometimes they close, sometimes they're on vacation, but that's sign number one. If you can't find the submission guidelines, they might not be open for new writers. If you are ever confused or asked to pay money to submit, or not really sure about where to find the submission guidelines on a publication and you've kind of looked around, the most probable answer is that they are not open and welcoming to new writers, and you should go look for another publication. Thing number two, is there good reader engagement? For established writers, this isn't as important, although it's still a good practice, because you have your own followers who can help get the ball rolling on getting views and reads and responses for your story. As a beginner, I really recommend submitting your story to a publication that has an engaged readership and who's going to really give your story a leg up and help it find its readers on Medium. Here's what I recommend you do. Once you have a couple publications on your shortlist using the method I talked about above, go to each of them and go to the latest stories published, which you can find by adding \latest I will include a text here, of the stories in that publication. Click on 5, maybe 10 of the latest stories and read them. Are they getting claps? Are they getting responses? When you check out the responses, are they meaningful responses? Are they high quality? Are they the kind of responses that you would like to get on your story? Those two things, more than anything, more than the size of the publication, more than how many followers the editor has, those two things are going to tell you whether or not a publication is a good fit for you as a beginner on Medium. Final thoughts. Should you submit your story to a Medium publication? As promised, I don't have the answer, but hopefully you do. After reviewing this video and all the information I've given you, you know whether that trade-off is worth it to you. You know if those benefits make a compelling case for you to submit your story. In short, if you want to reach a community, if you want to work with an editor, if you want to just get to know other writers who love to write about the same things you do, publications are a great way to do that on Medium. If you want to publish your story right away and you don't want to go through that submission process, or if you want to retain 100% absolute control over your story, or you just don't feel like getting rejected today, those are reasons why not to submit to a publication on Medium. With that information, I'm excited to hear what you think and answer any other questions you have about publications. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. You can check out all those links I mentioned, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.